These flowers defy the winter's blues and bring early spring magic to your garden. The stunning Lenten Rose.
Yeah, these resilient, elegant blooms push through the cold when most flowers are still asleep, adding a touch of color just in time for the Lenten season. But that's not the only thing that makes them so special. We are so pleased to welcome gardening expert Ginny Rosenkranz of University of Maryland Extension to historic Studio D, and you brought some friends with you.
I always bring friends, and thank you for letting me bring them.
Yeah.
These guys are just so happy to be here to share their toy.
Yeah, so they're Lenten Roses.
Lenten Roses is the common name, yes. And because they almost always bloom around Lent. And Lent, of course, goes back and forth in times like that, but it still manages to do a good job. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Do they come in different colors? Is that because of the soil?
No, it's genetics.
It's genetics, okay.
Yes, like people have blonde hair, brown hair, red hair. These guys have red flowers, pink flowers, and white flowers. They also have new varieties that are, instead of being single blooms like these guys, which I think they are spectacular, but they have some that have like lots and lots of petals, which is truly fun.
Now, is it the time of year that you can plant them if you want to start them, or should you wait a little while?
You can plant them,
okay,
as long as the garden centers have them, and they do. And now's a good time to plant them. And the reason why I like to plant them this time of year is you can look at your spring garden, you can see what's coming up, all the bulbs that are coming up and that sort of thing. They like to have shade, so they don't do well in full sun. They burn. Even though they have really thick leaves, you think, come on, guys, you should be able to deal with this. But no, they prefer a little bit of, they like morning sun and afternoon shade. They're very good about dealing with our sandy soils, because a lot of things that like shade need moist shade. They like to be wet, have their roots really wet or moist all the time. And these guys are really hardy. They can go ahead and live under the shade of a maple, which takes up a lot of the water that's around there, and they don't fuss. And the deer don't like them.
Oh, that's a good bonus.
That's really important, because I have multiple deer who live in my neighborhood, and they said, "What's for breakfast?"
How big do they get?
Well, this is about as large as they get. So they're about 1 to 1.5 feet tall and wide. Right now, there's in my garden right now, a lot of the old foliage is looking kind of ratty, so this weekend I'm going to go out, trim everything out, make it all look absolutely gorgeous. When the new foliage comes out with all the flowers, it's going to look spectacular.
Yeah. Are they now? Do they spread out a little bit as they get you?
They don't as a plant. The plant basically stays where it is, but they do have very viable seeds.
Okay.
And you can have lots and lots of seedlings. Some people I've talked to who have had the Lenten roses in their gardens for years and years, they go, "I have too many." And I'm like, well, you should dig them up and share with friends.
Yeah, share the love.
Yes, yes.
This is the time of year everyone's ready to get out and get their hands dirty, right?
Well, and this sort of it invites you to go out into your garden, to see what you have in your garden, and to clean it up a little bit, or just enjoy it, especially when the weather is going to be so nice.
So nice. Now, we were talking about how we can be fooled by this nice weather, the warm weather. We still could probably see a couple more frosts.
Yes, and these guys are up to it.
Okay.
Which is really nice, because there's a lot of plants, but most of the time your spring plants, like the daffodils, the hyacinths, the crocuses, they're all coming up. I have the little tete-a-tete daffodils in full bloom, a couple of crocuses are in bloom, and my hyacinths are starting to bloom. But they are sturdy, and they're kind of used to it. And actually, they originated like up in the mountains, where it's a lot colder.
Yeah.
So they're kind of being lazy where we are.
Yeah, my crocuses, I noticed they're popping up, and I haven't even cleaned out the beds yet. So
that happens.
That's their way of saying, "Come on."
I know, I know. It's one of those things. Do you have time to do that today?
Yes, I do. I do. Well, these are wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in, Jenny.
Sure.
And bringing your Lenten roses.
Thank you for having them. And they make very, very wonderful pets. They're quiet, stay where they're supposed to be.
And they're resilient.
Yes.
I love that.
And you don't have to walk them.
Yes.
Nope. And they last for years and years and years. They're a really good perennial.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.